This is Detroit's Morning Answer with John Anthony on FM 92.7 and AM 1400. The Answer.
You get a fast car. I want a ticket to anywhere. Maybe we make a deal. Maybe together we can get somewhere. Any place is better. Starting from zero, got nothing to lose. Maybe we'll make something. Me, myself, I got nothing to prove.
I think this is going to be the walkout music for our next guest. I got nothing to prove. Today we're joined by Anthony Forlini. He, if you remember when I did the show at the Oakland County Republican Dream Cruise event, and speaking of, man, you know, I never thought I could. I mean, and this gonna sound a little funky, but my guy Vance Patrick, I'm telling you, I love that guy so much. It's like we were brothers who've been separated for forever, and we've gotten together. I hung out with him last night, he and Reg, and I'm telling you, this guy is like he's like the salt of the earth. And Vance, I love you, brother. I just wanted to say that. But today we're joined by Anthony Forlini, who has built a career, guys, on leadership at every level of government, from Township Supervisor to serving as a state representative to now being elected twice as Macomb County Clerk. Forlini has, and I hope I'm saying his name right, because he knows I'm a butcher of name now. He knows that by now. He's consistently been at the front lines of reform. As clerk, he has led the state in election security, being the first to shut off modems requiring watermarked ballots, turning on tabulator scanning for FOIA transparency, and training over 700 election workers. He's also taken on the tough job of cleaning up Michigan's voter rolls, removing hundreds of deceased individuals, some more than a century old. Think about that. Now he has announced his run for Michigan Secretary of State. I wonder who has something to do with that. With a vision to expand those reforms statewide and rebuild confidence in one of the most important offices in Michigan government. My brother, Anthony, welcome back to Detroit's Morning Answer.
John, thanks for having me back on. And let me just say something. I will not butcher your last name for sure, because, I mean, we share something there. But by the way, you did a great job with my last name, so that was great.
Oh, yes. I've always, I try not to butcher names.
Hey, and listen, I'm going to do a shameless plug for you. I bought your book when I was at your on the show last time.
Yeah.
And I took it on vacation with me, and God bless you, man. That was all heart, all soul. And not only did I read it, but my wife read it on this vacation, and we looked at each other and says, man, this guy, he's something. So.
Whew, thank you. Now, don't make me cry before an interview, Anthony. Come on.
Oh, my gosh. Yeah.
I'm very appreciative of that. Thank you so much. I didn't tell him to say that, folks. I promise you I didn't.
Hey, listen, a guy read it, a woman read it. We both loved it. So
Thank you. Thank you, brother. And so go out and get yours, blackandwhiteradio.com. Sorry. That's my plug. But Anthony, okay. On serious tip, you've been described as leading the state on election security reforms. What specific vulnerabilities did you identify when you took office in Macomb County?
Well, there was a few, John, and when I say that, we went through it. We didn't find anything that transpired that was illegal within our office. But things like we were not collecting the tabulator sticks. Come on, we got to collect them. We got to record them. We got to do that, because if you don't do it, people are going to question it. We shut off the modems. Why? Because I couldn't prove, until we did prove, that nobody infiltrated into the system through the modem transmissions. So Verizon wasn't going to give us the data. I go, well, just short of suing them, we went ahead and they gave it to us, and we got the transmissions, and it showed that nothing had transpired. But if I don't have proof, right, I got to question it. So we questioned everything. We turned on the tabulator so that they recorded the ballots, and it showed how the tabulator recorded the ballot. And that was important. That was important to have that, because now people can say, all right, here's the ballot. Here's how it recorded it. It equals what was turned into the county. It must be right.
Yeah.
So we were able to prove things, and it's transparency, John. It's total transparency. you can always question something if you don't have transparency. You know, you send somebody in to count money. Do you believe he put money in his pocket? Do you believe he didn't? I don't know. But if enough eyes are on it, you can tell that it happened properly. So we like to put eyes on everything. I believe the Michigan public needs to have eyes on everything. The Michigan people need to be able to question and look at the tabulators, look at what's going on, and we need to have answers. And that's what we're able to provide now is answers.
Now, Anthony, Michigan, they've been at the center of national debates on elections. How would you make Michigan a model of election integrity nationally from what you've done in Macomb County?
Well, again, that word transparency is so important because if you're not transparent, then you're going to question it. So how do we do it? We have watermarked ballots now. So we know the paper didn't come from somewhere else. They're the actual ballots. They're watermarked. They're specifically made by one vendor. We trained 700 people across the county, never done before, to be poll workers. So they're educated, they're respectful, they understand the rights of people when they come in and vote, and they know their job. That's important. You know, all the things that we did in getting the whole system in place where we do hash validations on the tabulators, which, what does that mean? It means how we programmed it and how it ended. Nobody got in between. Yeah. Nobody infiltrated it. And you know what? And guess what? You know, we found two of our clerks had actually, and nothing nefarious, but they changed the tabulator settings. We saw it. We says, hey, listen, we need to redo all the absentees. And we did that during the board of canvass. Yeah. And you know what? Nobody was happy about it. And but it was important. We want election integrity. So,
you know, when you talk about transparency, because one of the things that I'm always concerned about now, especially when you look across the country and you look at some places in Michigan, as it relates to these mail-in ballots, Anthony, they're always normally the one of the last to be added to. Why can't we create some type of real live time of the input of all of these mail-in ballots? Because somehow they find some at the last moment. Or am I just part of that conspiracy theory that thinks that's what happens?
Unfortunately, the laws in Michigan at the time when all this was really happening in a bad way, it was about the fact that they couldn't open up these ballots until election morning and process them that same day. And with a huge flow of people that do absentee ballots, you know, it's almost impossible to get them done in a timely fashion. The legislature, thankfully, allowed them to start processing early. Yeah. And by doing that, we're able to get those absentee ballots in a more timely fashion. I think we can do better, though. And I think we have to look at the tabulators that, you know, the ones that we have are coming out of warranty soon. And there's going to be some movement toward getting quicker tabulators, more transparent tabulators. Our systems are going to be, I hope to be better. And I hope to be part of that conversation at the state level when that time comes.
Now, you talked about training more than 700 election workers to ensure competence. What did you learn about Michigan's training gaps from that process, though?
Well, you know, in Michigan, it's all done locally with local clerks. And here's the thing that most people fail to recognize. You need to have a Democrat and Republican in every polling location. Yeah. And let me tell you something. You go to the south side of Macomb, it's going to be tough to find enough Republicans. You go to the north side of Macomb, you're going to have a tough time finding Democrats that can fill these roles. And by us taking on some of that responsibility, we're saying we can offer that diversity between the two parties. Mm. And so if somebody from the south side of Macomb says, hey, you know, I like to work in a Republican area, come on. We can bring you up there because they need Democrats in the Republican areas and vice versa. So that was the thing we found. And the other thing we offer is consistency in training. Face it, we got 24 different clerks across the county. They all do it a little different. And what we're able to do is offer a little bit of a consistency between them. And we learned from them, to be honest. Some of them were doing a fantastic job. We stole some great ideas. Some weren't doing as good a job. They were able to steal ideas from us. And together, we were able to make things work. We had Clinton Township, the day before the election, called us and says, oh, my gosh, Tony, we need 35 election workers. We're short 35 all of a sudden. That's a big community, right?
Yeah.
Guess what? We're able to deliver. We delivered them. So now they have 35 people that came in, took care of business. They were trained. They were educated. They were ready to go. And that didn't happen before. So what would happen in the past? They'd be short of people, and it would look clumsy, and it would be a tough environment to be in. So
now this next question, good, you should be. Yeah. This next question is going to be very long because it relates to the watermarked ballots. Now, you had watermarked ballots for the first time in Macomb County history.
Yes.
What I want to know is, and here's the long part of the question. What made this step necessary? How did voters respond when they first saw the watermarks? And should this be a statewide mandate? And would there be challenges that you would face in rolling it out across 83 counties?
I don't think it's a challenge at all. Okay. I think it's just good practice. You're ensuring that the paper that you had was specially christened paper, where you couldn't just take something out of the Xerox machine and think you're going to put it through a copy machine and make up ballots. It's very specific paper, very specific to the clerks, and it's a security that was added. How was it received? I'm going to tell you, we spoke at a few events. One of them gave us a stand-up round of applause for doing it. Yeah. So it was a little bit that we did. And did it really make a difference? Listen, if people are happy, if people have confidence
and trust,
that's what elections are going to be. And trust. We got to think ahead before they do. Think ahead. Where are the holes? Where can the elections be stolen? What's the weak points in the election process? And we got to close all those gaps. And we took all these different steps in Macomb County just to do everything we can to bring trust. So if somebody asks us a question, we can answer it and say, no, that's not true. Let me show you why.
Yeah. I think voter roll accuracy is so crucial, in my opinion, for restoring confidence in elections. Now, you removed hundreds of deceased individuals from those voting rolls, some over 100 years old. How and why was this allowed to go unchecked for so long?
Well, the Secretary of State's office years ago didn't go back and look at all these things, and so these people just stayed floundering on the books. And we had somebody question us. They says, hey, you got 1,200 people on the voting rolls that are over age 100. Man, that seems like a big number. Yeah. So I went ahead and I said, well, let me look into this. Well, it turned out to be 600. I go, well, listen, I told our staff, I says, hey, let's take a look at every one of them. Guess what? Over 300 were no longer with us.
Wow.
Over 300. So
that's a lot of people.
So
close elections.
You know what? Yeah, it doesn't mean anybody voted. Doesn't mean any of that. We're going to look into that next. But it's voter confidence, right? These people shouldn't be on the rolls, and we're taking care of it. And you know what? If the third largest county in the state of Michigan can do it, we all can do it. Yeah, and they can do it at the state level.
And I think if people can trust the process, if they can trust in the election integrity, because that's a huge thing. People just don't think that their vote counts. And that leads me to the next question. You've announced your run for Secretary of State. Anthony Forlini, why do you believe this is the right time for you to step forward?
Well, it is the right time today, right? When's the best time to plant an oak tree? 30 years ago. When's the second best time? Today. So today's the best time. And you know what? Macomb was kind of the epicenter for a while about elections, and we did a ton of work at our level, all the things we did, because people were very skeptical in Macomb County as to the election results in 2020. And anytime I ran into a situation that said they questioned something, like the modems, and I says, well, was it possible that they were hacked? Oh, no, it's not possible. Hey, can you prove it? We couldn't prove it at the time. Yeah. So I went ahead to go out and prove it. I went out and proved it. And so one thing, and by the way, the rest of the state followed suit, and the state actually shut off all the modems, which I'm not sure was the best decision, but they followed our lead. I believe there was a way, if protocols are put in place, to double check the work and make sure that things were done properly. But, it didn't happen that way, so all the modems have been shut off.
Wow.
So I believe that it requires some leadership going forward, looking at things, questioning things, and ask anybody in my office. I question everything all the time.
Yeah. And Anthony, the thing about it, people forget. I was trying to get Paul to find the audio clip because I've played it. People forget that it's not just been Republicans questioning a lot of these ballot initiatives, ballot box, mail-in ballot. The Democrats did it too, and they've been doing it for decades. As to questioning, I remember, I won't say the name of that company because everybody that says that name gets sued, Tucker Carlson, and I won't say their name, but they actually did a whole live demonstration of it that showed that when the modem was connected, that it could literally change votes. Have we forgotten about that conversation?
Let me say this: protocols have to be put in place to question things all the time, and to be able to prove. You have to be able to prove that nothing happened, and we've taken great pains in Macomb County so that if somebody questions us, we can go and show them, what we've done. And that doesn't mean it's a static environment. We have to keep improving. We have to keep questioning because guess what? The bad guys are getting better. And so we have to get better ourselves, and we got to be willing to adjust and not be complacent and saying, oh, we got the best system. Nothing can happen.
Especially when everything is becoming digitized. Now, here's another question for you. Beyond elections, people forget the Secretary of State manages vehicle services, licensing, and there's a lot more. Do you see opportunities for reform there as well?
Well, John, this is where we shine, I think. We have 4 people out of 100 of my employees, 4 of them are in elections. So obviously I got a much bigger role than just elections. It comes down to operational efficiencies, and I actually won 2 national awards for the work that we've done. We have, you come into our office in Macomb County for a CPL that used to take a couple of weeks to get an appointment. Yeah. Today you come in, same day, we take care of you. We went from processing marriage certificates. It took half hour, 40 minutes to process.
Wow.
Now you're in and out in 5 minutes. We looked at processes. We looked at how we did things, and we made it better. I was told we were going to have, after COVID, we were going to have 100 people in our lobby. Be ready. Don't open too soon. I says, why is that? I don't understand it. So we looked at the processes, and if I have 10 people sitting in my lobby, my hands start to shake. I said, what's going on? Why is that? I'll go out and talk to somebody, say, hey, what are you here for? Hey, Julie, come over here. This guy's got this. Can you take care of it for him? And we get things moving. So 5-10 minutes. If you come ready with all your stuff, we're going to get your process, get you in and out. And that comes to operational efficiency. The other thing is we got rid of voicemail, John. We got rid of all our voicemail. When you call, you're going to get somebody 98% of the time. Why do I know that number? Because we track it. We track everyone who's picking up the phone and who's not picking up the phone, and everyone knows it. And so what we found is rather than get a voicemail, have to listen to the voicemail, then have to call that person back, maybe not get that person, have to follow up again. That took a lot of time.
Yeah.
Getting rid of voicemail means you got a live person.
Anthony, I really don't want this conversation to end. I don't have, Paul, how much time do I have? I don't have my clock here in Michigan. Paul, can you tell me how much time? Less than a minute. Okay, Anthony, I want to hold you over on the break because I do want to give you an opportunity to pitch the Michigan voters. I did that with one of your opponents now, that I gave her an opportunity to pitch to the voters of Michigan why they should pick her. So I want to make sure that I afford you that same opportunity. Can I hold you over for the break, sir?
Sure, absolutely.
Okay, because I really do appreciate that. I know you're being very generous with your time. So when we come back from break, we're going to continue more with Anthony Forlini. who's running for Secretary of State of Michigan, because I really do think it's important that the voters know that they have choices as it relates to who's going to. In my opinion, election integrity is one of the most important things that we can do. So you're listening to Detroit's Morning Answer. We'll be right back.
Together we can get somewhere. Any place is better. Starting from zero, got nothing to lose. Maybe we'll make something. Me, myself, I got nothing to prove. You got a fast car.
FM 92.7 and AM 1400. The Answer.
Welcome back to Detroit's Morning Answer with John Anthony. Before the break, we were talking to Anthony Forlini, who's running for Secretary of State of Michigan. Anthony, there's a couple of questions I wanted to get to you. And as someone who has served at township, legislative, and county levels, how has that experience shaped your vision of statewide leadership? Is he there?
Can you hear me?
There you go. Go ahead.
Yep. All right. Well, it shaped in many ways. You know, what that gives a person is a little bit of wisdom. They've gone through the processes at different levels. They realize what constituents are looking for. I got my teeth kicked in a few times through the years, and I says, all right, you know what? I know what people are looking for, and that's what it's given me at this point in time. And I got to tell you that legislative experience in particular was incredibly important because as Secretary of State, there's a lot of things the legislators need to know and need to be able to act on.
Yeah.
And it takes somebody that's had that leadership role before to be able to bring it forward to our colleagues in the legislature and say, hey, we need to fix these things. And, you know, face it, these guys, the people in the legislature don't necessarily think much of elections. Well, right now maybe it's got a little bit more sex appeal, but it never did.
Yeah.
And so they didn't really pay much attention. I think what we're going to be able to bring forward is the priority of taking care of the local clerks, making sure they can get their job done, and streamlining processes. And we're ready to do that.
You know, so as you know, Michigan voters, they head to the polls in 2026. What's the vision? What's the message you want them to remember about Anthony Forlini's vision for Secretary of State and why they should vote for you to become the next Secretary of State of Michigan?
Well, I think the most important thing they need to look at is my established leadership in the past and what we've done and what we've accomplished, and established results. That is very much something that they need to take a look at because things can work good. Government can work good. Government can work good for you if you do the things, the blocking and tackling that is so important to make things happen. So we've done the blocking and tackling. We've seen, we were able to come in right away during COVID. Very few people were working at the office when I got there. Mm-hmm. Within 3 weeks, everyone was back to work. And hey, we're here to serve the public. We are an essential part of everyone's life. We need to make sure we're there for them. So we brought everybody back. This whole work at home thing is really a misnomer. It's at home, not work at home. It's at home. I can't tell you how many times I've called somebody. So, well, can I get back with you tomorrow? I'll be back at the office. Well, hey,
you're on the clock.
At home, you should be able to take care of it at home. Right?
You're on the clock.
You're on the clock right now? Why do we got to wait till tomorrow? Well, because there's certain things you can do at home and certain times you can do that. But what does it take? It takes adults back at the office that can track it and make sure they're doing things. You know, there's companies that do have people work at home, but guess what? If their eyes aren't on the computer, their companies know it.
Yeah.
I doubt government works that way. Government doesn't work that way. They just don't have enough to keep an eye on making sure productivity is up there and it's performing. So we want to get government performing. We've done it at Macomb, the third largest county in the state. We're going to do it again at the state level. And that's going to be our focus is good customer service, making sure I had somebody yesterday call in from the UP and said, hey, our office is never open. We got to schedule an appointment just to get them to come to the office. Oh my God. I mean, I can't even imagine that. Cannot even imagine it. So they actually have some struggles up there that need to be addressed, as we all do, and we're going to address it. Customer service is number one.
How can people find more about your campaign? If they want to get involved? Do you have any social media, any websites that people can go look at and start following you?
Yeah, we got a few things going. Forlini for Us, and it's FOR Us. That's our Facebook page. I've been using that one since I ran for Congress years ago. So I just kept it, and I kept it going like that. I'm there for them, right? Yeah. My website is anthonyforlini.com, and you can go in there and endorse. You can go in there and volunteer. And God knows, this is a statewide campaign. We can use all the help we can get.
Yeah. Well, Anthony Forlini, thanks so much for joining us on Detroit's Morning Answer. I really appreciate it, sir.
Thank you, John. I appreciate it. Thank you.
All right. No problem. I'll say this. Anthony Forlini's track record is one of practical reforms, integrity, and results. When you think about securing elections in Macomb County, to preparing over 700 election workers, I think you can safely say he's shown what leadership looks like when it takes accountability seriously. His run, in my opinion, for Secretary of State is about giving those same solutions: transparency, security, and trust to all of Michigan. So go check him out. I really appreciated him coming on to the show.